You made the handshake gentleman's agreement with, but unfortunately he kind of turned out to be a bit less reliable than anyone expected. So, without really like commenting on his character, that was just a shock to the team. I wasn't really on the team. Like, I wouldn't count myself as on the team because I didn't actually like end up doing the Patreon. So I mean, I did a little bit of work on the side, just not for any compensation. Just like I drafted up some merch ideas and stuff that didn't come to fruition. But yeah, I feel bad for the team, especially who worked for months on it, and now kind of get completely cut out of anything that could come from it.
I mean, I did ask him today about reimbursing everybody that's ever worked on it, and he said that he is going to do that still. So at least he said that out loud on the chat.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, he may say it, but it's not officially recorded, is it? These spaces are ephemeral; they kind of just disappear. So
that's true. Emmanuel, you've had your hand up for a while. What's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of get the heads and tail of this topic that seems to concern everyone. I'm still in the middle of. I'm like, wait, what? What's happening? What's happening? That was really it. Because in the first room, Bilal also expressed concern, and I'm like, okay, did something bad happen?
To be honest, I never had any concern, like, because I didn't know about anything going on with AlgoDex, and I was still super enthusiastic, like, to have him to talk, and I was very happy to see him, and I didn't know he was like in that kind of situation, but and I'm still very supportive of AlgoDex and Alex, like, anyways. So I think it's always very super difficult to build, especially a DEX. Like, legally, it's so difficult. And I admire him for taking the risk, and that's what I told him this morning. And I love what he started to do. But yeah, things can go bad in the team. Like, I don't want to blame him in any ways. Especially, I don't know all the details. But yeah, I just discovered everything this morning.
We should probably just better wait until he's available to talk about it again, just because give him the ability to like answer all the questions. Because right now,
exactly,
it's mostly like what I know is that pretty much the entire team left and it has moved over somewhere to another project during the middle of the testnet, and yeah, that raises a lot of red flags all by itself.
Yeah, or members of the team that left, if there is one here, that would be awesome to have like their perspective on the things, why they left, etc. That would be more precise, because I have no idea personally.
The issue is that they are all worried about an NDA that they all signed, that they're not able to talk about anything that went on, which is what makes this hard.
Oh, okay. Anyways, we have plenty of things to talk about.
Let's move on.
Yeah, how are you, Monty? How are you doing, my friend?
I am so glad to be here. I'm sorry I missed last week. I'm excited to get caught up and talk more about El Salvador and maybe some of these new NFT projects that are coming out.
Let's do that.
There's a ton of stuff out there, right?
Yeah, and also like the banks starting to sell, like being able to sell algos to their clients. What do you think about it?
I am super stoked that Vest Bank out of Oklahoma kind of broke the barrier, right? So we'll see what happens if some more folks pile on. And I've got news of a couple of real estate companies that are watching that closely, because real estate and banks have a kind of a tenuous relationship sometimes. But if you take cash out of a property, sometimes that can we transfer that to a bank? Can we transfer that to Bitcoin or Algorand or ETH or some other crypto via a bank now? There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the real estate world right now too. Not to mention eliminating the need for wire transfers, traditional. I mean, just talking about if a bank is using crypto, can the escrow company use crypto as well? And so now the transfers are faster, less expensive, and I don't know if you guys know much about the real estate market, but $28 trillion worth of real estate just in the U.S. alone gets transferred around, various service providers to in and out of escrow accounts. It's a ridiculous amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have an account on Realio, like the project that's been launched a long time ago?
No, I really wanted to get on the pre-sale of that, but I'm American. But because they were offered, they offered a really nice pre-sale at first. Like they'll give you like more really if you used Algorand to purchase it. It was a really generous offer. And I talked to I had a message with one of their people on Twitter one time. They were very nice. And
yeah, I had some good interaction with them as well. I've been thinking about starting an overseas entity, because I think that might give us some more flexibility to speak to some of these and be early investors in some of these projects. Legally, it's allowed. You just got to jump through a whole bunch of hoops to get there.
Like an ALGO fam overseas conglomerate.
Right. Something
that would be awesome.
I mean, honestly, let's like set it up in what, like Cayman Islands or something, like.
Yeah, or Greece or Singapore, something like that.
Yeah.
Or Panama, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, TinyMan's mainnet's supposed to launch this month, so there should be some relief there.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. TinyMan team, the project, it's great.
Very, very super well done project. Very sleek, classy, great team, professional team. I don't know if everybody knows this in this chat, but the team who were building TinyMan, Hippo Labs, also did the UI for the Algo wallet. And they also did the UI for Robinhood. So
wow,
that's on it. Isn't that amazing? Like Robinhood, known and criticized heavily, but known for its like incredibly sleek and welcoming UI.
Yeah, exactly.
That speaks to how good Hippo Labs is at what they do of making a simple and usable interface. It was so good that it became, a criticism of Robinhood itself, that it was too accessible. I don't think that's a negative for Hippo Labs. I think it speaks to their abilities. That's why the animations for TinyMan are so clean, and they have just a great look and marketing. I mean, it's just, I don't want to harp on them too much, but I really do respect the detail work that they put into their UI design. And it's pretty cool that not many people know that one of the biggest, probably the biggest investment app in the US is made by a team now fully focused on building on Algorand.
Yeah, no, there's an amazing team. Really excited for that project to roll out and hit mainnet, and super stoked.
What do y'all think of the $300 million fund committed to Algorand projects, DeFi, and specifically $5 million grant each for a Price Oracle project and a Bridge project? Any developers in here or entrepreneurs want to comment on that and like what you think of that?
I mean, it's a leading question. What do you think about $300 million of free money?
Yeah, literally.
Awesome. I'm really excited to see. My biggest hope is that it's going to start bringing some of the bigger names into the space, and I think it will, because like the grants are large enough now to move the needle for these already large companies.
And when you mean, bigger players, large companies, what do you mean by that? Are you talking about companies interested in crypto, not in it yet, or companies on other chains trying to, cross the bridge?
Companies with proven track records, really. It could be crypto track records. It could be just existing track records. The issue with like smaller grants is that these larger companies make so much money, especially in the crypto space, that the smaller grants don't move the needle, you know.
Yeah.
But a bigger grant, and then of course, like with promises of borderless that, you know, they will potentially invest as well and then provide liquidity, it really opens the door for existing projects to come over.
What do you think of the Price Oracle project? So can someone explain and break down what a Price Oracle does on a blockchain?
Sure. So wait, okay, I'm here. Okay. So an Oracle just in general is talking about bringing off-chain stuff on-chain, or just knowledge on-chain. And a Price Oracle is a way for, specifically, is to be able to pull token information, stock information, like price information, or just information itself into another contract, so that other contract can do something about it. So the Oracle grant is focused on, because there can be multiple different types of oracles as well. There can be a centralized oracle where there's just a entity that feeds data to the chain, and then that's just the data that people are use. There can be a different type of centralized oracle that's more of like a centralized oracle protocol that allows for anybody to be able to upload their own data. And then there's the decentralized oracle, which is kind of like its own network for data to actually hit the chain in a decentralized way.
Mm.
And usually, like flash loan attacks are the subject to a centralized oracle, correct?
So flash loan attacks are. So I'm sure you all heard me talk about how great flash loans are, and the flash loan attacks aren't the problem of the flash loan. Flash loan is an amazing tool that, you know, everybody should be able to have access to. The problem is it's more of an oracle attack where the price feed is easy to manipulate, and easy to manipulate within a single block. So a good oracle would provide a feed that is resistant to manipulation, is really what it boils down to.
Mm. So is there a built-in oracle on Algorand's layer 1, or do they not have any type of tech like that right now?
So a built-in oracle like that doesn't really, like what Algorand does is like they have a smart contract language, they have the protocol. To build an oracle, it's pretty much you're building a company or a application that uses smart contracts. So Algorand has the ability to accept the data. It just requires somebody to build the infrastructure to pass the data in a safe way.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And that's
if you look at something like Chainlink. Like Chainlink is an oracle for, like, say, ETH, right? It's the central authority of where information can come in, and all the developers that are going to be using this off-chain data to supply it, you know, onto the blockchain could all agree that if it's coming from Chainlink, then it's verified, right? But as Chris said, there's nothing like that infrastructure on Algorand, but it's going to be here soon for sure.
Couldn't Chainlink just expand their offering to support Algorand?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the word "just" is a.
Sorry, I think my mic was off. Can you hear me?
Well, I mean, technically,
Yeah.
I mean, like, yldy uses Link right now for their VRF and their price feed on their website.
I don't think they're using the same, like, to the same extent. They're using their VRF generator, but I don't think like Chainlink is like native to Algorand, or I think they're just using one aspect of it. So they are using it. You are correct.
I mean, if they're using the VRF from Chainlink, they're definitely using it in a centralized way, because right now Algorand can't communicate with Chainlink unless something's happened that I don't know
of. Does anyone have any other insight about like what an oracle could be used for on Algorand? I mean, I know it's for bringing data on chain, but what kind of what kind of dApps need that kind of infrastructure to work? Is it the branching of or the bridging of traditional finance to DeFi, or does a bank need an oracle to let people?
Synthetics are really a really important. You need an oracle for synthetics, but really, like the dexes that are going to be out. Reach, for the dex that Reach is building, Tinyman, they should have oracles, price feed oracles built in to the pools to actually determine what the current price of those are. So that will kind of come, and like everything uses like it. Yes, like anything that is like, say if you actually built a prediction market, being able to pull in the real world data from off chain would need some type of oracle.
Yeah, so essentially oracles are used for nearly everything that involves off-chain data, like people said. This can move anywhere from DeFi into NFTs. Essentially all you need is the data. Now sidestep into the whole the Chainlink saga of things. Chainlink can successfully deliver data to, say, the Algorand platform if they have established, or if they've properly established contracts to interface with your core infrastructure. It's either that or Algorand is finding a way, or platforms find a way to essentially bridge that's bridge data interactions between the already full-fledged Oracle Chainlink system down in the Ethereum space, and then moving that data over to Algorand. So you're looking at either Chainlink building contracts on Algorand, or essentially Algorand developers essentially just building necessary bridge interfaces to pull data from the Ethereum space that Chainlink runs on. Now, coming back to blockchain oracles, they can essentially provide data for anything or everything. If you make an NFT project that says, "Hey, if you mint at 2 p.m. and it's raining, this is the NFT you're gonna get. If you mint at 3 p.m. and Manchester United won the game for that day, this is the NFT you're gonna get." Those are the things you can essentially harness oracles for. You're buying a house, okay? You want to kind of get the data around the house. That's the land, the demographics, all the necessary information, which currently is majorly stored in centralized systems or whatever. You would want an oracle to essentially be able to gather that data, but also curate through that data, and hence why you have things like oracle pools. If you look at something like how Graph works, for example, you're curating the data, and essentially people are incentivized to better filter the unnecessary data from the very necessary data. And that would essentially affect how, or your security or your trust involved in buying a house using blockchain technologies as you know it. You can go further into it's so many different things. It's all about knowing how to collect that data, knowing how to curate that data, and knowing how to send that data over to the chain. And after that, it's all about the chain's native tool, and essentially utilizing that in the best efficient way.
Right. So, like, to summarize, it's about getting data on chain, and there's multiple different ways to do it.
Super exciting. Honestly, super exciting to see, these kind of critical infrastructure projects being supported, so enthusiastically. So something exciting that I can share, if y'all want to hear it. So next week in New York, there's 3 conferences that Algorand is showing up to. The first one is the SALT conference, which Steve Kokonos is speaking at. A bunch of financial and political important people, influential people will be there. Then there's Digital Asset Summit 2021, and then a chess conference that Algorand is sponsoring. I'm very happy to say that I will be attending the Digital Asset Summit. So I will be there on the ground with a camera, finding people to talk about the developing crypto space, ALGO, listening, giving updates from inside. So really excited to be able to let the community in and the fam in on that kind of info, and really just keep all the information that is going to be pouring out of there open and tell you all about it. So that's on Tuesday and Wednesday.
That's so cool. Can you do it live? Like, can we follow you live?
Yeah, I can probably. Well, I can probably do it live.
Wow.
There's no live streaming on Twitter like with video.
Yeah.
What
YouTube,
I might,
maybe?
huh?
On YouTube, maybe on your channel on YouTube. That would
Yeah.
be amazing.
Could do it on YouTube. I got a new camera, so I'm gonna be trying to find people from Algorand or different crypto projects, interviewing them, talking to them.
Wow.
Maybe we'll be able to do one of these spaces and get a few people who are at the conference to come and chat. So we'll see, but I'll definitely be tweeting a lot, posting a lot of like info and just everything I hear and see. So really excited to get that going. I mean, Algorand seems to be going on a bit of a, their marketing, they always get criticized for their marketing, but I think, they're clearly not interested in like ads or, commercials. It's stuff like this, which is more up their alley. It's just getting the information to the right people who can make a big difference. And I feel lucky enough that Kelly could give me a ticket. So yeah, it's gonna be really fun. So I can't wait to let everybody in on.
So exciting. Like, yeah.
Huh?
We need to follow your channel to not miss it. Like, I can't wait to follow you live. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Yeah, it'll be really cool. I feel totally like blessed to be able to have been invited. So yeah, definitely like everything. If I do a live or a Twitter space or an interview, it'll all come out. So it'll be really fun to do that, and we'll see what happens. I have no idea what's going to happen there. I know some guys from ALGO are going to be there. The marketing team of Algorand is probably going to be there, and maybe Steve or Sean. So they also have a bunch of different speakers, people from banks, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, different crypto projects like Copper, who's the asset custodian that signed a big partnership with the Algorand Foundation, I believe, or Algorand themselves to host ASAs, like official ASAs, and be the asset custodian for more official ASAs. I definitely will find them and try to talk to them and see what kind of assets do you expect to be holding in these high level accounts. Yeah, so it'll just be really fun. So we'll see what happens.
Most likely ALGO bots, right?
Yeah, exactly. Algobots.
How about those algowanas? Wow.
Algowanas look great. There's Crypto Squirrels coming out today. It's a new series by Algo community member Algo Squirrel. He's putting out an NFT series. Do we want to just do an NFT like shill moment here where everyone can say their favorite project, because that's what it's seeming like.
Yeah, I love it. I'm looking forward to Zest Bloom. I can't wait for the Zesty guys to get online.
Me too, because especially they're the first to be offering, music support and just more complex video support. Yeah, really excited to do that.
I think they're going to offer the auction functionality that Rand does, but also the copyright and the royalty benefits of AV2, right? So I think they're going to incorporate both of those, which seems like a good marriage.
Yeah, I'm really excited for their project. They have a great site. They're really nice people. I interviewed them back in like July or something, and just husband and wife, really just passionate and honest people. So really excited to see them thrive. And I think the more marketplaces we have where they each offer something different from each other, just good for competition. There's even on AB2 and Rand, like they're not perfect. They're great, but they're not perfect. And like they all have a long way to go to be as user intuitive as something like OpenSea. So it's great to just have more competition out there.
I think you just had a conversation with Steph too, right?
I did have a conversation with Steph. Dart Room as well. Just another one that they have a more curated selection of artists, probably about like When I spoke to him, it was 55 artists on his site. Probably, I'm gonna guess it's a little more now, but yeah, they're doing well too. So it's really exciting. There's a lot of collections coming out these days. A lot.
Yeah, I just want to know what your metrics are. Like, what do you use to filter out so much on AB2? Like, whenever you're shopping for NFTs, like what do you kind of look out for? Because like, there's so much going on over there from all sorts of projects, and you're like, okay, this, that, this, that. What do you look out for?
Me or anybody?
I personally go directly to the set. I don't actually use the filtering and try to discover new things. I say, all right, which sets do I already know that I like, and I just go right to it.
NFT Explorer is the way to go.
Yeah, NFT Explorer is great. I was talking to them yesterday. I think there's so many new collections as well. Like since they've last updated their collection page, that's why I put together that big NFT thread, just to try to help them and help the community, and because there's so many new ones coming out. And I think even since I made that post like 2 days ago, there's probably 3 or 4 new series that have come out. So what I do is I just kind of troll through Twitter and scroll through the sewers of Twitter, and or just like go through the AB2 page for a few minutes, and if I happen to stumble upon something that's cool, see if it's a exclusive or not, and go from there. And I'm still a big believer in, it's not about just like it's an NFT. Like if you like the art piece, like do you like the art? Would you be willing to have it even if you couldn't sell it? That's really like the question, because right now there's no guaranteed market that someone's going to pick up your yield link for 100,000 algo. Like it's just not that rare yet. Like it's still cool and valuable, but people, we're kidding ourselves if you think someone's going to pay that much for like NFT art on the Algorand NFT marketplace, which is not like, could grow 100x from here, but it's not there just yet. So I think it's more about like, are you willing to have it for an indefinite amount of time and enjoy the art? Or if you want to collect it, make sure it's in a valuable series.
So speaking of NFTs, I tend to lean more into the smart NFTs world, like NFTs that do more things than just designate ownership. And I know of a protocol that is in the current process of being built, and the idea there is that it's a gaming protocol that is actually going to be an entire ecosystem. So if anybody out there knows any video game dev shops that are interested in being part of this early ecosystem in the early stages, please reach out to me, and have them shoot me a DM or whatever. Would love to actually talk to them.
I was wondering if anyone would be interested in talking about the possibility of accelerated vesting coming to an end. I don't know if anyone's checked out the Algorand official subreddit, but there's been some good posts about how if the price action stays where it is, we should probably see the last of that fund dry up.
Well, actually, can I jump in?
Sure.
So this is my theory, but okay, this is just my theory, but I think a lot of price action in the entire crypto world is completely intentional. I definitely don't think it's random at all, and I don't think it's like just happening. So the whole big move with Algo that happened last week or a few days ago was definitely intentional, right? I don't know by who, I don't know, it was definitely a big mix of retail and institutional and private investors. I have no idea, but I definitely think it's not for nothing that it happened so rapidly and violently so quickly. If the price stays up there, then the current 30-day moving average is $1.39. And if it goes above that, it'll start to activate accelerated vesting, which if the market can absorb the vesting, then yeah, it could be over by 2020, mid 2022. I think this is where it gets into theory. This is now my theory, but the price accumulated last week. Now they're having these 3 big events next week in New York where they will be not revealing, but just talking about algo and trying to sell people on it at these conferences. And maybe that will be a catalyst for market sell pressure absorption if you have big institutions starting to get interested. But that's just my theory. So I don't know. Maybe we'll be able to absorb the market sell pressure. I think it'll be okay. But I don't know if it's on.
Really didn't. It flatlined. So I mean, I wouldn't assume that the price is going to actually fluctuate that much. I mean, personally, I would love to see one more dip before I can lock into governance, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's the last time the accelerated vesting was triggered was when it was like in February when the price went parabolic. So it then I don't really love talking about price too much, right? But because I think it'll just speak for itself based on network adoption. But like in terms of accelerated vesting, it went to what, like $1.85, and then maintained that level for a bit in a very volatile way, but it was still up there. And then, May crypto dip, and that's why it seems very formed a big bowl shape in the accumulation, and I think it was very honestly engineered, but that's just my opinion. I don't know for a fact.
Do we know of any projects that have taken advantage of yldy's onboarding launchpad system yet?
Opulus, technically, since they're going to be using the partner staking.
I think we have Bebet from yldy, right? Bebet, I can invite you to speak.
I asked Sean if he was going to get listed on MEXC, and he kind of danced around the subject. But I assume that anybody who's using that launchpad will automatically be, triggered to be placed on MEXC. And Smilecoin is on Uniswap right now. They're not on MEXC.
I didn't even know Smilecoin was on Uniswap.
Yeah, they have
they're live.
Yeah, they have an Ethereum token. I already got dropped their ALGO token. But
you did the burn.
The burn?
Yeah, if you buy their ETH token, they've got they got a spot on their website. You can burn your ETH tokens, I think, in exchange or bridge them over or something like that, right?
No, they just airdropped it to me.
They just straight up airdropped. Sweet.
Yeah.
Does anyone know how Opulus's future royalties system works? Because I was looking at their system, and the way it works is you can lend out ASAs or tokens as collateral and have them backed by future royalties on the song, right? But how do you guarantee future royalties, and how do you back a loan with future royalties that aren't, actualized yet? Does anyone understand that?
I mean, I can tell you how you would do it. I have no idea how they're going to do it. But I can tell you how you would do it now.
Sure. Yeah, because I just feel like that money doesn't exist yet. Like if I put out a song, right, and I'm a musician, I put out songs, there's no way I can guarantee how much money I'll make off a song. So how could I take a loan out of that?
I mean, you're lending off your reputation and your previous songs that you've made royalty on. But the only way you can actually enforce royalty in a decentralized way is by using application NFTs and not ASA NFTs. There's going to be a world coming very soon where there's going to be both ASA NFTs and smart contract NFTs. And the smart contract NFTs are going to be much more functional. They're going to have the ability to do things or actually enforce things upon transaction or before transaction. And that's pretty much how you would do actually enforced royalties. The other thing too that you could do with a smart contract NFT is build in like royalty pools rather than have an individual, like an individual account that it receives a royalty, you could actually do a pool for the royalties, and then you could actually tokenize that pool and have the pool be then token traded for the potential of future royalties as well. And like all of this makes it possible with smart contracts.
Okay. Very interesting.
The big problem though is that it's not really about a technical problem, because like I could tell you exactly how to do that with Reach today. The big problem is regulations and how you can make sure that you do this in a way that you're not hit by the SEC for creating a security.
I didn't get into the whole like nitty gritty, the technical aspects of it, but I did get an explanation that said, the investors, so to speak, would get 100% of the royalties until I think it was 50% of the loan was paid back, and then it was sort of a sloping payback system. So after that, it goes to the lenders or investors would get 90% return, and the artists would get 10% of their earnings after that, and it would flip flop, kind of like an amortization schedule until the entire loan was paid back. But I don't know how that works technically. I just know that was in theory what they were aiming for. And if after a certain period of time, I want to say 3 years, if the loan hadn't been paid back, then Opulus was going to purchase that completely, so that the investor still got their funds in some way, shape, or form. But I don't know how that works technically. I haven't seen any official papers. That was just a conversation that was had.
Yeah, and Opulus has some pretty good data because they're a spin out of Ditto, and Ditto helped take these artists and distribute their music. So they have all the streaming data historically for an artist. So I'm sure they can forecast with like confidence intervals. And if they're going to back it up with purchases, you would think that their predictions would be pretty good.
I would agree.
Yeah, so we should probably ask Lee this, but it's a bit hard to get a hold of him or someone on their team. But does Opulus list the song on streaming platforms for the artist, and then therefore take the artist royalties, and then they distribute that to the people who back the artist with the loan or with the initial investment? Or is the song just hosted on Opulus's website and they're trying to become their own streaming website?
Yeah, so Opulus is a spin out of Ditto Music, and Ditto Music is the company that revolutionized music distribution, that allowed artists to not use labels and go strictly to streaming sources. So I'm assuming that they're just offer this NFT service to their Ditto artists, and the revenue is still going to flow through Ditto and all their structure there.
So that was my understanding as well, that they would keep their traditional revenue streams going, and however those royalties come in, and they come in from multiple sources, they would all get pooled together.
Gotcha. And is their platform open to other artists, do you know, or is just they're sticking with the people they have signed? Anybody know that?
I know they're always looking for new people. It just
he was announcing some way to for new artists to come on board, and as a way to attract new artists as well. So I definitely think that they're trying to bring on new talent that way.
I'm pretty sure anyone's allowed to sign on Ditto. It's open to any artist, indie, whatever. It's now a question of, do you have fans to listen to your music?
Mm-hmm. Always the biggest thing about being a musician. You need the audience. Yeah. Still, great idea, though. Great product. Can't wait for it to drop.
Does anyone know what the Ditto token was actually going to be used for, the Opul token?
I believe governance.
I believe it's governance, and you can also stake it as collateral if you want to take out a loan on their platform.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe that's what it is.
But other than that, I will be honest. I feel like Opulus needs to explain their product a bit better. They have a good marketing team, but I've tried. I've looked at all their stuff and their documents. I still can't really get a grasp on how it's really going to work. So, calling on Opulus to clarify how their systems work in like a concise manner.
This is where we get in trouble. We talk about things that don't exist yet.
Yep. I mean, it's just, we want to see results. We want to see working products, not, the idea, especially to, like, for me as a musician, is great. I mean, I'd love to go to 10 or 20 friends and say, hey, if you each invest $10 in me, I'll give you part of this royalty for this album. And, but I don't even know if that's really how it's going to work. So I guess we'll see.
I guess that's what we were saying this morning with Chris. Like the idea really of the Algorand ecosystem is that we try to bring the product first and then we talk about it, and try to do less talking before the product is ready. And at least we need to have like a first version. And I think it's very important for all projects to create first and then talk, like yldy did. They did a great job. And if we have like if we can have someone from yldy, like I think we have Babette here. Babette, are you here? Like, can you just say hi?
Hi, everybody. I'm
Hi.
BB. I work with Chris Swenner, actually, over at Reach. This is my first Twitter Spaces, so thank you so much for having me.
Hi, BB.
Hi.
I'm sorry, I confused you with who is this lady at yldy? Like, Ibu, do you remember?
A woman who works at yldy. I can't remember anyone off the top of my head,
Oh,
but I don't know their whole team, so I don't know.
Also, so Babette, you work with Reach too, with Chris, right?
I do, yes. I'm
Awesome.
one of the evangelists.
Awesome. Thank you for joining.
Of course.
Chris, how's the growth of Reach doing? Are new developers coming online?
Yeah, we're still growing at about 10% week over week, which is pretty nuts. But yeah, things are growing quite quickly.
Brilliant.
Is John allowed to speak about his new project? What's going on over there, man?
I mean, John better not speak about the project until he tells me about it.
What's up, guys? Yeah, so kind of speaking towards what you guys were just saying, we're not going to announce anything until, we're absolutely certain we can launch this product as we announce it. So yeah, I would not expect anything from breathtaking from us anytime soon, because we have a lot to figure out. But yeah, I'll definitely let you know first, Crypto Nerd and Ibu.
Love it.
Wait, what about me?
Chris, you find out towards the end.
Dang it.
Just kidding.
And can you tell us, John, what kind of problem do you try to solve?
So it's kind of like decentralizing the web, right? So it's kind of a big problem that we're going after. Yeah, I can't say too much more than that without kind of giving it away. So I got to be real tight-lipped about this.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
At least until we know, it's possible. I like previously said, we don't want to, overpromise anything. So.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, but still, even without promising too much, like just knowing the kind of problem, like if there are like ways and the problems we have and the solutions, and it's always great to talk about it even before it's really like just the problem itself.
Yeah, I really hope we can discuss more pretty soon. We're actually talking with people from like Algorand and stuff like that, and just trying to figure out the technical solution to this issue. We think they might have it kind of figured out, so we don't want to smash our head against the wall if, you know, Jason and a bunch of the other really smart developers there have already kind of an idea of how to fix this. So yeah, I'll definitely keep you guys updated, but that's all the information I'm going to give you.
Thank you so much. Can't wait for
Excited. Yeah.
the following.
I had a great chat with Filippo and Benedetto from Folks Finance. That's a decentralized loaning and lending platform on that they're building on Algo, and that's one I'm really excited for. You know, a different type of product than NFT marketplaces that we've seen so far, and again, just one of the things that will evolve the Algo ecosystem a lot. And I think someone in a group chat the other day was asking about yield farm aggregator on Algorand. So I think, you know, things like that can come along when we have more options for yield farming. There's multiple products out. So yeah, that's definitely Folks Finance, one to keep an eye on, out of Italy, Blockchain Italia. You know, just wanted to put that out there, I guess.
Yeah, strong project. I've been watching them as well, and well put together team. You know, I just realized that I hadn't joined this one. I missed last week, which is the week after I did the Algo Fest stuff. But yeah, I mean, did the group enjoy that? I know the Algonauts want to put together one the following year, and we've been kind of like debating, and they've been trying to figure out, hey, should we do it live? Should we do it virtual? Should we, you know, make it on a weekend this time? I've given them lots of feedback. You know, I'm not behind the scenes involved. I'm more like just the MC talent involved. A bunch of folks reach out to me to, you know, get bookings and that kind of thing. But I enjoyed that. Did you guys get a chance to watch all of it? Was it beneficial?
It was amazing.
Yeah, dude.
I loved it, Auntie. Great job. I could say for the whole community, it was, you know, super beneficial for everybody to have it all aggregated in one space. And I would like to see one like quarterly, not yearly.
Yeah, we were thinking about doing something else too, where we did like a fan community awards, like best new project, you know, most improved, or, you know, something like that, and we could do a different events, you know, a different style event every quarter.
That would be amazing.
Cool idea.
At the beginning, when I launched Fame, I wanted to have a dev fund to reward the best project, and then I had a vote for the community and to ask if we keep it or if we put it into the charity and art, and the vote decided to send it all to the charity and art. But I think it would be a good idea, as you said, Monty, to reward the best project with any way we can, and Fame can be one of them. That would be great.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, Michael Jordan just chimed in and said Israel is building its first digital securities exchange on Algorand. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh shoot, what are they called? Let me look that up real quick. I heard that's actually from a while ago.
And just so also, so you guys know, there's multiple projects being built that I know of as well. There's a stable coin, like actually a truly decentralized stable coin, and that's a wrapped coin coming. There is a NFT marketplace that uses smart contracts and not ASAs coming. There is at least one, maybe two lending platforms coming, and also there is actually a decentralized auction house that is finalizing things as well. So things are actually, I can talk about these because I've seen the code. So I know that it's real.
Oh yeah, that's the kind of source we need. We need you, Chris. Like, seriously.
Chris, you're involved in that auction marketplace, right?
Yeah, I mean, like really, it's one community member that's working on it and is part-time, or else it would have been done already. I'm just really kind of helping him, kind of feeding the progress to the community and giving him tips on what to do. But yeah, that's coming along really well.
So how is that going to work? Can you give us a few details on what kind of auctions will be available? Is it just a bidding up auction? Can you do reverse auctions or Dutch auctions? Or
I mean, you can do anything. This first auction, what it will be is just a traditional auction where you start with a minimum bid and then it goes up. If anybody bids within a certain number of blocks up to the deadline, it extends the deadline by a certain blocks. So if someone comes in and tries to snipe at the end, it extends the entire auction to let people come back. So that's what that will do. But I actually yesterday I spent some time on thinking of how you would actually architect a reverse auction as well, and it would be very simple to do.
That's brilliant. I think one thing yeah, go ahead.
Any ideas of different types of auctions, just let me know, and I'll think about how they could be architected. I've also been talking to 82. I had a call with them on Friday, talking to them about what I can do to help them accelerate everything, and gave them some ideas and features to build as well.
I think one thing that AB2 could integrate are rarity counters, which could just be really exciting for people buying collections, or you know what I mean? How they have those like percentages on other websites.
I don't, but would love to tell me
Yeah,
more.
so
Maybe
like on OpenSea, they're called properties. And it's just a way to sort, through different features of the NFT collection or set. So like with Algorand, the skin tones is one property. And people use that to determine value, which
I get it now.
say what you want about it, but yeah.
So one thing that's is coming with this gaming protocol that I was mentioning earlier is that it's the ability to have people buy packs. And when you open the pack, it randomly decides how many NFTs that you would receive out from the set, and the different rarities of what you would receive, with the potential of hitting the jackpot and receiving the entire set. The idea is that that these assets will be integrated into multiple different games, so that you'd be able to actually take these assets that you purchased and be able to get different features on different games. And I think this is a really cool project.
That is a very cool feature. I'm a fan of that. It's almost like I'm of the age where we would buy baseball cards or Garbage Pail Kids or whatever, and they would come in a pack of 5, right? And you tear that sucker up, and you're like, okay, which rare do I have? And what are these other 3 ones that I can trade off or do whatever, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah, with the added benefit of them actually having value in game, where you'd be either be able to apply them as a skin, be able to use them as like a fighting character in a different game, a lot of different things like that. And so pay attention. It's called Game Jam Protocol. You'll probably start hearing more and more information about it.
Hell yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the governance? Like, I guess we all saw the video, like the explaining of the new governance model with obviously the locking of the algos. Like, do you have any thought about it?
Other than I'm all for it.
The locking of the algos, like that's been a feature where you have to keep them locked for 3 months. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah. If anyone has like ideas, what do they think about like the program? Like, is it clear? And I'm full on it. Like, I think I will even divide like different wallets to have them in different to divide like my stack, etc. Do you have any strategy going forward about it?
I personally, I want to put half of my stack into governance, but I want to keep the other half for use in DeFi and other protocols. I don't want to I don't want to give everything to the governance, because I feel like it'll be really fun and interesting to test out all the new DeFi products coming. So I don't want to have no availability for that. That's just how I'm feeling. But definitely
it's gonna be really cool when these DeFi products integrate governance into their protocols, so that you can do both.
Yeah. What theoretically, let's say I put, just in theory, half of the bag I have into governance and half into yldy. If yldy is holding the algos, wouldn't they have control over all those votes then?
I mean, it depends on how you. I confess, I actually don't know how yldy works technically. I don't believe I've ever seen them publish their code, so I don't know exactly how yldy does everything. But yeah, so I can't really talk about that. Maybe WGMI, you're pretty connected to their community. Have you seen how they technically work, like literally technically?
No, I haven't. I'm not sure that's because of the bridge, but I haven't seen any technical papers from them.
Yeah, so I can't really speak to how yldy works. I mean, and honestly, I don't, the governance is talked about, but I haven't seen the actual technical documentation of it yet to understand how it would work. Ideally, what would happen is that you'd be able to govern in that you could actually build the governance or use the governance tokens within a contract, or maybe do a wrapped algo that would allow for the algo to be locked for governance, but also a liquid asset as well. But I'm really excited to see the technical details when they come out.
Yeah, that's what gets me interested to divide my stack. Let's say I have 5 wallets onto the governance. When I want to use one, I can use it and wait and see how is it possible to, yeah, as you said, to wrap them and to have them used in other platforms at the same time. And that would be very interesting to deal with.
I would say, 60 days ago, I was like, I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna put it all into governance. And now is new projects come out. Now I find myself in that same boat below, where I'm thinking, okay, I might need to partition this up into 5 different segments, right? I got 20% goes towards governance now, 20% in the yldy deal, 20% saved for DeFi, 20% for NFT fund, right? And I just find myself getting attracted to new projects and thinking, okay, well now I've got to separate. Now, shoot, I got to prioritize because I can't do everything.
Yeah, because there is so much utility now for the ALGO token that, yeah, I still think I will put 80% of my stack on the governance, but this 80% will be divided. So if I change my mind, I can without losing the rewards for the remaining wallets, etc. Do you have strategy like this, or what's one?
I got a personal strategy where I'm kind of doing what Algo HQ's doing. I'm only going to put half at first, to be honest. Like right off the rip, I'm throwing half my Algo in the governance, and then as I earn Algo through liquidity pools or rewards or other keep it in use for sure, because we're going to have so much utility coming soon, and you don't want to be locked. I mean, you can take it out from what I've been told, you know I'm not without you just lose your rewards as a penalty.
Definitely super curious to see what happens with the accelerated vesting as well. Because who was saying it before? SPACs, please. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, if the price does remain in the $2 range, that vesting will be moved up. And it's really just, we're here to see if the market pressure, or if the algos will be sold if they're vested. But also, I think I made a tweet about this the other day, but the value proposition of selling algos is going down heavily. Well, depending on your entry, that's also a factor in what you intend to do with the token. But the amount of use case is just going through the roof, and it's going to continue to go through the roof. And so the less you have, the less you can do, the less you can participate in DeFi and NFTs and yield farming, governance. So the reasons for accumulating the algo token are going up, and the reason to not have it is just kind of going to zero.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think the hardest part for a lot of people who have been in the Algorand ecosystem for a while is continuing to buy when they got in when it was like 20 cents, and buying when it was 40, and buying again when it's 60, and buying again. Like at this point where it's $2, I think Algorand's still really cheap. So I've been accumulating the whole time. I wanted to bring up something. What is anybody's thoughts on like community social tokens for use in governance?
Bilal, I think we talk about fame. I mean, we have yet to see where, like, what the value of a token like fame will be, but I definitely believe that fame being a representative of those early in the algo community can be, pretty valuable form of social collateral and social capital. Just to, if you have a fame token, your voice carries a little bit of extra volume in the algo community. But Bilal, jump in. What do you think?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to distribute like as fast as possible all tokens and to not hold them. So now we have approximately 75% of the token distributed to the community. So I don't have them. And what we are building with Kwame, with Jamie, with other people, and we are working as a team to think about how we can bring this down. But as we said before, we want to build, test in at small scale, just between us, and then offer it to the community to decide and to have a better voting system than what I've been doing until now. But yeah, we are thinking, and we are just join into Discord and bring like anyone can bring his ideas as part of the community with or without fame. So we build all of this together, like a DAO all together. And soon in 2022, we will start the elections, like all the fame ministers, or we don't even know yet how to call them. We have also a debate about the name, but we will have like basically 12 art ministers, 12 charity ministers, and they will be in control of the fame token that will be released automatically without me. So yeah, this is the community token that we already have. We all have, most of us have, and we can all earn it just by participating in the challenge. And every month we have winners and people who earn and yeah, it's the community to decide everything about fame, definitely.
Do y'all think that NFTs being used as collateral can have any credence? Like, for example, I made that one-of-one NFT to give away to a follower. I gave it away for free, but maybe it'll be worth something in the future. Do you think, or maybe in an ALGO bot, like Chris was saying, or any of the popular NFTs, when you use that as collateral, how do you quantify the value of it? Because the price can technically go up and down I would say more rapidly than a financial token. Anybody have an opinion?
You're talking about like from a DeFi lending standpoint?
Yeah.
Well, you got to approach it like a pawn shop, man. Like somebody comes in with a piece of artwork or something. Each shop kind of has to take their own stab at it and figure out. You watch Pawn Stars on that like entertainment.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, whatever, right? So I mean, they bring in a couple of experts. They try and evaluate it, and they assign some value that they're comfortable with. That if they got stuck with it, they could flip it. So you're gonna take a bath on the valuation. I would think they're gonna be conservative, but I don't know. I think it's up to each business.
So this game protocol that I was talking about, what the plan is there is that borrowing and lending is actually built into the asset itself, so that you would be able to stake your assets And what then what could happen is then someone could borrow it or rent it from you, and then pay with the actual promise of returning it at a certain point plus interest with it. And during that time, that person could use that asset to actually play the games with that asset. So this would allow for people to actually buy and invest in these NFTs, and have not only the hope of it appreciating in value, but being able to rent it out to people that want to use it in a completely trustless way.
But doesn't that kind of turn it into a security?
No, because you're not actually. So what you're doing is that you're letting it's a property that you are renting to somebody. There is no promise of the asset itself in increasing in value, but letting somebody to actually borrow the thing allows it to be, generate money from it. The other thing too is that the idea is that these assets will be created and distributed from a DAO, so that there is no central authority dictating what the assets are.
True. So it's just everything's kind of grouped into one big umbrella term as NFTs. So no central authority is saying these are algo bots and they have value. It's more just like the market will give value or no value to the art.
Like the DAOs, like some protection in some sense.
Yeah, so the DAO's protection, but also because NFTs, if you guys listen to my podcast, an NFT really isn't an asset. A NFT is a data structure. And what the rental aspect of it is the ability to allow somebody to have access to the NFT without actually owning it. And what you're doing there with data structure is just adding an extra field that gives extra ability. And you can give that extra ability for a fee. So if you explain it technically, that's what it is. But in reality, what you're doing is you are renting out your goods in a complete trustless way.
Yeah, I think there was like an arc, and it was there's this discussion, and they were talking about like fractionalized NFTs. Does that kind of like tie to that into some sense, where you have this one NFT that you can, sell or rent a piece of the whole thing?
So no, so this is not renting a piece of the ed by any means, because what you're doing is, this is very similar to, like, if in the real world, think about magic cards. Say you build a deck, and this is an amazing deck with lots of rare cards in it. But maybe you're not going to actually play the deck. So what you do is you can actually rent out the use of those cards by somebody else to play in a tournament, and they can then play them and then return them afterwards. So it's just the ability to lend them out to people and be able to actually, but do it because of the blockchain in a complete, transparent, riskless way, because there's no way that they could destroy them or harm them. And after a certain amount of time, you would automatically have the ability to claw them back.
Yeah, that's cool. It's kind of like just like the real world. If you're playing like a Magic game and you have a friend and you're creating your deck of cards and you lent it out for that match and he gives it back after, but just kind of using the decentralized, autonomous way of doing it. Yeah, that's cool. Like it.
Yeah, but the big benefit here is that now instead of a specific game asset, you're doing this in a asset that is able to be used in, hopefully hundreds of different games. So that way that these assets that are owned by individuals and not games have the ability to be used in multiple different on multiple different games without the risk of you losing your investment because the game goes away.
Actually, we have AlgoDex here. Please, I saw some updates on your platform, AlgoDesk. Please, if you please feel free to join and tell us more about the news on your platform.
AlgoDesk. I'll invite him to speak, him or her. I have a question. Why are there two NFT series called Mangoes? Honestly, like, there's Mingos with an E and Mingos without an E.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, AlgoDex.
Sometimes that's the downside with the cheap transaction fees, that like you can just push the mainnet without really even thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a joke, but there's two flamingo themed NFT series that are called Mingos that look different than each other, and it just is like, come on, guys.
A little confusing.
Sorry, shouldn't have. That was just a joke. Algo Desk, feel free if you want to tell us about some updates.
Hi everyone. Am I audible now?
Hi, how are you doing, my friend?
Howdy.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm really glad to be here. So, yeah, recently, last week, we have released a new version of AlgoDesk. So it's basically a pet project that I've started a few months back. But yeah, I thought it will make sense and it will be useful for newcomers who are coming new to the Algorand blockchain. So it might help to understand like how easy it is to create assets on Algorand compared to creating ERC20 tokens on Ethereum. So these are I've started it as a pet project, but yeah, this week we have released the second version of it, and probably we're also looking into working on new products. We are kind of evaluating the products like Launchpad, and on Ethereum we have a project called Aragon, right, which is deploying the DAOs on blockchain. So I'm also kind of evaluating and looking into that. So yeah, I'm really excited and looking forward to expanding in the ecosystem.
Oh, can you tell us more about the launchpad? Like, are you building a launchpad on Algorand? Is it what you said?
Yes. I've started it as a POC. It's not a full working version yet. It is just a POC that I've started on. So on Ethereum, we have a project called TrustSwap, right, wherein we can it will be helpful for the startups to raise funds and distribute the initial set of tokens, right? So I actually have started learning contracts on Algorand. So as part of POC, I've built end-to-end working application wherein you can use decentralized contracts to raise funds and distribute the assets. And I've used Pytail to build it. And currently, I'm also evaluating and talking to Chris from Reach and rebuild the application using Reach.
Wow. Chris, tell us more about like the collaboration. Like, you have so much going on, like it's hard to follow.
Well, the collaboration has just started, but one thing I will say is that I've been following Desk for a long time now. They've been a great member of the community, and it's an amazing team. And whatever they choose to do, I will fully support whatever it is because they produce awesome products.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah.
AlgoDex, can you tell us more like about because I guess you created AlgoMint too, right? Is it you or is it another team?
Yeah, it's me.
And can you tell us more about what we can expect in the future?
About AlgoDesk V2, right? That is released this week.
Can you tell us more?
Sorry. No, yeah, go ahead. What's releasing this week? I'm sorry. Hello?
AlgoDex, please, can you tell us more about what is releasing this week? And also, how do you see the future of NFT creation on AlgoMint?
AlgoMint, I was talking more about AlgoDesk. So AlgoMint is a separate project, right? So I was talking about the AlgoDesk, wherein it's an easy way to create assets on Algorand, whether it might be an NFT or it might be a normal asset. So initially, 6 months back, we have released the V1 just as a POC, and this week we have integrated with the other wallets like Algorand Mobile Wallet and also MyAlgo wallet from Grand Labs. And also we have enhanced the UI a bit so that it will be more intuitive for the users to create assets. So that was already released this week.
Oh, awesome. Is it hard to integrate the Algorand official mobile wallet to AlgoDesk?
Not really. So already they have provided an example on the Algorand official GitHub. So it was not that hard to implement. Yeah, it was a little easy. It is just we
Thank
connect
you.
to a wallet connect bridge, and then send out the transactions.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I posted a video a long time ago, like in December 2020, I think, about how easy it is to create an asset on AlgoDesk. And yeah, I guess like it was like under 2 minutes, like how to create an asset with your platform under 2 minutes. And I guess many of the members, the Algo fam, like used it to create assets afterwards. And I was very glad to see that.
Yeah, right, Bilal. So earlier it was only integrated with Algo Signer, but then in the new version it got integrated with all the major wallets like MyAlgo wallet from RAN Labs and the official mobile wallet as well. Yeah.
Do you plan on integrating the ARC3 standard in AlgoDesk or AlgoMint?
Sorry, Chris, what was that?
Do you plan on integrating the ARC3 standard for NFTs with AlgoMint?
Yes. So I was looking at the standards proposed by Foundation. This is what you're talking, right, Chris?
Yeah, it's, I'm sorry, I probably got too specific. Yeah. The standard posted by the foundation, and the specific one is ARC3.
Right. Yeah, got it. So I was just looking at the standards. Yeah, I mean, I was just waiting for it to be finalized. I think it is still in the discussion, right? So it was being discussed on the GitHub still. So I was just waiting it to be finalized. Once we have the fixed set of standards for what is an asset and what is an NFT, probably we can start integrating with within AlgoDesk itself.
I believe it is finalized now. It's fully in the repository.
Oh, last time I think I probably looked at it 3 weeks back. I think it was still in discussion. I'm not sure, but I'll double check that again. And if it is finalized, probably we can integrate that within the AlgoDesk platform itself.
Yeah, there's actually there's somebody that's decided to do it. I believe it's ARC3.xyz website that started doing it, but like it's still a work in progress. But
right.
But I know that, you know, it's coming along.
Right. I still kind of concerned. I mean, have a doubt to differentiate between a normal asset and an NFT because as per the standard, NFT is nothing but an asset with a fixed supply of fund, right? But how do we identify? So within a wallet, it can have normal assets versus NFTs, right? So how do we identify if it's an NFT or it's a normal asset? That is one thing which I still didn't understand, like how the standards are solving that problem. Probably, yeah, I need to look into that document once.
So the auction that's the one community member is building in, so it currently works on both the old standard and the new standard. How it determines it is that it if it's it pulls the URL, and if it's a JPEG, it assumes that it's an NFT. If it pulls the URL and it's a JSON, it then checks to see if it matches the ARC3 standard, and then displays appropriately based off that.
Okay, then where do we have that JSON file located? Is it in a decentralized location, something like IPFS, or it has to be?
So yeah, so in the standard, it dictates that it's in some location, so IPFS or Arweave or something of that sort. And the idea is that you pull from that URL that is in the actual metadata, and then it dumps in the JSON, and within that JSON has different information.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. But I do have one question for you, Chris. So NFTs also can be created using smart contracts, right? So what do you think is better? Is it Asas as an NFT is a good thing, or is it programmable NFTs are good? Because programmable NFTs, we have more control on it, right? Whereas standard assets, they can be transferred irrespective of the contract you write, right? So
yeah, I mean, you're asking me, and I'm extremely biased towards the application NFTs because I believe the future of NFTs are programmable. So I do see a world that they both will exist, though, where you'll have the ASA NFTs that are mostly just for like dumb just ownership of a asset, and then you'll have what I call application NFTs for more smarter NFTs that actually do things. There is an ABI standard that is coming soon that'll make it so that that application NFTs will be able to have a standard that just doesn't exist yet.
Okay, got it.
So I just want to clarify on a few things. When you say programmable NFTs, what do you mean by that?
So what a programmable NFT is an NFT that does more than just. So I just did an entire podcast of this. So if you want to do a search for Better on Blockchain, the 4th episode is an hour-long talk about what really an NFT is. But a NFT is self-sovereign ownership. Means that it dictates the actual ownership of a thing, and it's not actually a thing. And that's what a NFT really is. But what a smart NFT is a asset that dictates ownership, but has additional rules on transfer of that ownership, of the actual ownership itself. It just has the ability to program more about what the NFT can be.
From my experience, it's significantly still very different. So at its core, an NFT is essentially an entry on the chain. Okay. The key thing about this entry is it's unique. So NFTs are essentially the base layer of what is, or what we've constantly known as smart assets. So ultimately, it all comes down to the asset in general, in this case, a non-fungible asset, and it's all about the metadata it holds. Now, the further work an NFT can do or can be is based on the environment it's implemented in. So essentially, you have the asset and you have the programmable layer that essentially harnesses whatever metadata is in there for whatever uses. You'd see this in the RC20 standard, where essentially the bunch of that is thrown into the executable layer via smart contracts, or even let's go all the way back to Bitcoin, where that was essentially narrowed down to the metadata of colored coins. So when you say programmable NFTs, you essentially mean NFTs that have superseding layers to better, utilize them in a very applicable way. And it's sad that the year started with a frenzy, and even people like Gary Vee get it twisted. But smart assets are essentially the goal of NFTs. Else, at the end of the day, it's an entry on the ledger, which is unique enough to properly represent any piece of data or information, be it physical or digital. So the concept of programmable NFTs is it murks everything up a little bit with the nomenclature.
I agree with you up to a point. I personally believe that the standards that exist. By the way, I'm trying to actually have this conversation while my kids are yelling at me. So if I missed something, I apologize. But I believe that the standards that exist in Ethereum land don't dictate what NFTs are. I think it's the standards that are in the Ethereum land exist that way because of how difficult it is to actually build smart contracts. Now, the reason why I say that is because if you make a mistake in building a smart contract and it is then found and then it's built into the standard, it would wreck a lot of different things. So the idea is that right now that in Ethereum, you don't stray outside the standard unless you are building in layers. But there's literally no reason why you wouldn't be able to build the layers within the actual standard itself, rather than having to have layers.
Yeah, the problem with having to essentially incubate all the various active layers in the entry itself is bloat. That's what you're looking at. Remember, we're working with blockchains here, and it's bloat. What you want to do is essentially leave the necessary pointers and the necessary proofs on chain, so that all the necessary layers that would essentially utilize this entry on chain will be off chain, and they can more efficiently do work or execute further business logic with this. The Ethereum standard definitely is problematic, as the bulk of it is really dependent on contract code, and it's just pointers being pointed out everywhere, and there's no real solid data on chain besides executable code. But then in my experience, just exploring like all the way back to colored coins and even fast forward down to even native assets in the Cardano ecosystem, you learn that there are ways to essentially be minimalistic, save space on the blockchain by utilizing the least of information or data you need. And so there should be an application layer, an active layer, but then for any person working in distributed systems, one of the biggest thing is to use less, and that's why compression technology is a big deal. And it's a blockchain we're talking about, which makes these needs more significant. So it's all about, in handling ASAs, it's all about using less data onto the chain, because then remember, although the vault concept is still in development, it's not there yet. And the last thing you want for, say, Algorand validators is to essentially hit that point where they're just holding so much unnecessary data. So just from a resource efficiency standpoint, you want to use the least information on chain through proper proofs and well vetted entries, and focus more on the off chain processing aspect. That way you don't go through what L1s would go through currently with, like, say, Ethereum.
I'm definitely not disagreeing with you, like the bloat issue, but bloat, like the way that you described it, is really only happens when you are using templatized development, which is what happens on Ethereum today. I believe that what should happen is that the compiler itself should be protecting you to make sure that you have the correct safeties, and can you build custom assets that do exactly what you want, so you don't have to worry about the bloat, because you wouldn't include the things that you don't need. That's mainly what my point is, that we need to get to a world where developers can build the exact asset what they want to do what they want to do, and of course only put the important stuff on chain, but they need to be able to do it in a very flexible way.
Gotcha. So essentially, a good standards library that interfaces properly with the chain at a protocol level. That's.
I don't know if you actually know about Reach, but I'll just give you a quick like high levels. That what we do is we allow for developers to program in a complete bespoke way to make the asset do what exactly they want, and through the compilation process, we automatically generate formal proofs to guarantee that the code will do exactly as they expect in all potential realities. And what this allows for is for complete bespoke assets through without having to actually do templatized development in the first place.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Reach. I'm like, pretty well to its okay degree familiar with Reach, and it falls within that realm of just formal verification as a whole. And yeah, like the beautiful thing as well about that is the fact that although you do make it a point to ensure that only the necessities are applied, and only you from top to bottom how the code executes, you don't really that still doesn't stop essentially inefficiency. Okay, like you can only make dumb code, you can only make smart code, and you can only make code that will not make it past compile time. But then essentially the efficiency of the dumb or smart code, eliminating uncompiled code, that's what assets, that's that whole application layer right there, that whole standards library right there, that is what would have to survive. Because you can have a very robust validation system, but then if it's still not properly filtering through what needs to be filtered through, that you're looking at the bloat right there. That's the thing. So you could formally verify.
I mean, bad coders are going to code badly.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just that's just how it always is. But before you go on, one of the benefits / restrictions of Algorand is that the way that they've actually set it up is that there is enough restrictions on the chain itself to force leanness. It's not like the Algorand will eventually, because bad coders are going to put bad things on there, then it's going to go slow because of the restrictions that are in place currently. So that's definitely like with Ethereum, you have the ability to do whatever you want and pay thousands of dollars in gas, because it allows bad coders to code badly. But the benefit, I guess, what it's saying Algorand is that it doesn't allow you to, like right now you have a 700 opcode limit of what you can actually do on chain.
Right. I mean, just like that opcode limit. Ethereum has the gas standard, so they have the gas limit over there. My question is, what's the metadata size limit for ASAs? That this is something I should probably research myself, but then since I have
so the ASA size limit is
for
it's
metadata
very
in
much baked.
particular.
Yeah, so there actually is. It's very restricted. So the idea is that you link to an external immutable data source like IPFS that will allow you to have as much as what that would be. But the idea with the actual ASA metadata limit is that you I forget exactly, but it's in the matter of like long enough for a URL type thing.
Oh wow, that is small. That is very small then, because then also IPFS is not entirely immutable. It's all about how live it is. So essentially, you just have to hope that you're either hosting your own IPFS node or your own, centralized node, or if
or Arweave
or
or something
Arweave
of
or
that sort.
something.
But
Yeah, but essentially, if the last node stops holding the data which your on-chain, ASA is pointing to, then you're kind of screwed.
Well, I think
but that's why you have the smart NFTs to be able to actually generate the NFTs in a similar way that Ethereum's actually that generates NFTs, and then you have more flexibility of what the NFT can or can't do.
if there also was a Filecoin or storage competitor or equivalent built on Algorand to help with IPFS decentralization, that could also be a kind of a game-changing factor as well. I think Steph.
I mean, that's so.
Yeah.
That's not really how that works. So what would have to happen is that if a competitor would want to build using Algorand, they would have to build their own decentralized storage layer and then use Algorand as like a communication layer or something of that sort. Because the whole idea with Algorand to keep it to be fast is that the size of the contracts and the information on Algorand is limited.
So you're looking at a layer 2 solution for storage then. That's what you're saying, right?
Right. I mean, that's ideally how you would use it with Algorand is you store as little data as possible because you don't really have much limits to store on Algorand. So what you would do is you would use Algorand to store the hash of a file or some type of pointer to a file, and then use a layer 2 or some other service for actual data storage.
Right. I like the concept of establishing a layer 2 solution for storage. I think in fact no, I think it would be prudent to rather have a running sidechain dedicated to storage. So let's say a direct competitor for IPFS that strictly interfaces with the Algorand's core protocol system. That way, it's still able to avoid putting pressure on the base layer as a whole. I'm just surprised that the limitations to metadata as a whole. Coming from the Cardano ecosystem, we have 16 kilobytes worth of metadata to essentially utilize. And that alone is able to do so much. You can essentially break down media or content all the way down to your base 64 state and still utilize that. But then you don't necessarily have to, because then you can fully exhibit the entire data as you know it. Compression is always key. The goal is always efficiency. Anyone who doesn't focus on efficiency, I don't know what to say to them. But then still you want to have that room, that wiggle room, because metadata is beyond the media. It's so many core aspects that would further improve the application layer that brings utility to a given asset, or in this case ASA. But I'm going to deep dive on, the road for governance, because these are things which you, the Algorand community, or us, the Algorand community, would have to really, double down on and essentially put in, comments to be, proposed and deliberated on. So
yeah, and just to be very clear, I could also be wrong on the ASA standard, so make sure you do look into it. I got a lot of information packed in that I could be swapping around, but this is also why, once again, I'm pushing hard into the smart contract standard for NFTs because those have much more flexibility. They have much more space to be able to do things in.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely do a deep dive. Algorand has always been my secret interest among many secret interests. I'm just not entirely enthused that the level of improvements done to the mobile client as a whole, the wallet client as a whole, the Algorand wallet app. Because then I need to use my Algo wallet to do a lot of ASA stuff, and I'll just be glad if we could have that capability on the Algorand wallet itself. Wait, Algodas has his hands up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're integrating that the wallet functionality into dApps right now. So I think that should be coming around in the next few months, like definitely.
Yeah, we have Wallet Connect though. There's Wallet Connect, which currently
Yep.
is built inbuilt in the wallet. It's just not many other Algorand-based platforms utilizing the Wallet Connect. I mean, maybe what's that upcoming marketplace coming out? The one about green NFTs. I can't remember for the life of me.
Green NFT.
Yeah, so one of the things that Reach did recently is that we removed we lowered the level of abstraction away from the specific wallets. So we created a open wallet connect standard that would allow for any wallet, if they follow it, will automatically work with any Reach application.
Reach, game changing. Chris always explains this stuff, and I'm like, I get it, but then I really want to. To see it in action will be like another, it'll be really cool. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Algodex, please, you're raising your hand. You can speak on whenever you want.
Yes, Chris. So one question I have is that though programmable NFTs has more flexibility compared to normal Algorand assets, but
Thank you
the
so
block.
much, Emmanuel, for the insight and the conversation with Chris. It's really
Bilal, Algodesk was actually asking a question. I don't know if you're hearing them.
sorry.
Yeah.
Bilal was Algodesk was actually asking a question. I don't know if you hear them or not.
Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah. So my question was, Chris, though programmable NFTs has got more flexibility compared to normal assets, but the blockchain has a limitation of deploying 10 applications per account, right? So how do we solve that problem? Because every NFT will become an application on the blockchain, right? And if I want to deploy more than 10 NFTs from one account, that's not possible today. So the only way to get around this is like use another account and then rekey it to the original account. So what do you think of any other solutions for this?
So number one, we ask really, really nicely the Algorand Inc. and Foundation to increase that limit. That's number one. Super important. Number two, I think this is what I do know that companies that I'm working with are doing this, but they are creating, because the limit is on how any applications that they can create, not hold. So as you mint, you can actually spin through dummy accounts. So like you would pass like automate this. You'd pass the exact right amount of money to the all right, goes where the exact right amount of algo to mint 10 smart contracts. You run through them all, and then you throw that account away. And then you transfer the ownership of that NFT to an account that you actually want to own it. So that's kind of how they're doing it. But the number one thing is just ask really nicely to increase the limit of how many accounts in an account or applications an account can have.
Right, Chris, that makes sense. Also, we do have a limitation of a number of applications that an account can opt in, right? Even this we have a limitation as the ecosystem is expanding now, and if I want to use multiple projects from one account, which is not possible today with that limitation, right?
Sorry, I'm trying to get my kids out the door right now. So yes, there's limitations out there, and I believe getting around. You don't need to actually opt into the contract for information to be stored about your account on the contract. So being able to manipulate the application, you would need to opt into it, but you would only need to opt into it to actually change the information and not necessarily have data stored about your ID. Does that make sense?
Right. Local storage for an account is fine, but without opting in, can we really make an application call? I haven't investigated that.
No, that's so my point is you're not able to modify the information without opting in, but the information like who owns that NFT is just data on a contract. Does that make sense?
It's a pointer to an address, right?
Right. So
Right.
you can have a pointer to an address, but you could opt in and opt out to modify that information. But you don't actually have to be opted in to for that information to be stored.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense, especially for programmable NFTs. But I was referring to the other applications as well. So if you look at the other DeFi applications, in that case, you really need a local storage for an account, right? In that case, opt-in is mandatory.
Yeah, you're right. So if you look at like an AMM DEX, you can get by with opting in and opting out to the pools themselves. And this is actually how Tiny Man gets around it, where you have to like if I don't know if you use it or not, but when you trade in the pools, you can only trade in so many before you have to opt out of certain pools, and that's just one of the things that you'll notice.
Yes, yes. I went through their architecture document available on the documentation. Yeah, it was really fantastic the way they have implemented the AMM. Yeah.
So Algo Desk, do you also work with Algo Mint?
No.
Oh, I thought someone said that. Did I completely mishear that? My bad. You just your own project.
Yes, yes.
They're just talking about the process of like minting it. Like
Yeah, no,
ASA.
this was from a while ago. It was from like 30 minutes ago. I think Bilal maybe said he worked for Algo Mint, but I guess I just misread it. So sorry about that.
Yeah, no.
But I did see that El Salvador is creating their own Bitcoin wallet that uses Algorand. And I was wondering if Algo Mint was involved in that. Does anyone know? Algo Mint being currently the primary synthetic Bitcoin minter on Algorand, or at least they promise to be. Anybody know anything about that, or is it speculation?
I do not know anything about it, but I also have to get going, guys. So it has been great. I got to get to Run Club apparently. So I'll talk to you
Thank you
guys
so
later.
much, Chris.
All right, later,
All right,
Chris.
thanks, Chris.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to step away myself. I'm actually pretty late for a little Cardano meetup. We're having our hard fork combinator event in a few, and it's exciting. So cheers, everyone. It's good. It's good in here.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. That's a great insight that you bring. Thank you.
Really good stuff.
Yeah,
Incredible.
no, I'm blockchain at heart, and I love good tech. I love good code. Algorand was one of the few projects that I asked myself, if I'm moving out of the Ethereum ecosystem, what other progressive projects are out there? And Algorand ended up on the list. And
Awesome.
yeah, so you know, I'm just that quiet person who watches the community from afar until I have to step in.
Awesome. Please come back next weekend. It was so good to have you today.
Yeah, totally. You know, and when you guys find time to, you see any good Cardano spaces, just feel free to jump in, ask questions. It's pretty
Thank
awesome. One of my secret wishes, I guess it's because I'm into Algo and Cardano, but then I'm actually hoping for like a good bridge. I work with a startup that is focused on building these kind of ecosystems, and I'm yet to convince my bosses or my co-team members to start looking at Algorand and say, hey guys, let's build a bridge, let's build a bridge, let's build a bridge. But we have an asset standard to first figure out for interoperability before anything. But good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, we're working on a bridge with Cardano. Like, I would love to talk to you about it. Like, when we can.
Awesome. We'll keep in touch. I have this terrible thing with Twitter right now. I think I've pissed off Twitter gods or something, but I'm stuck with like only being able to follow at max 5,001 or so people. So like I'm gonna have to unfollow some other people and follow you. But I'll try to keep in touch. Like I'm in Twitter jail right now with
Awesome.
following.
Talk to you soon, my friend. Bye. Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So I guess if we're winding down the space, does anyone have anything they want to share? NFT project they want to put us onto? I mean, you can see my profile picture, ALGO helmets. I think they're pretty cool, so y'all should check them out. But yeah, anything else coming out? We got the Algoanas, those dropped 2 days ago. We have the squirrels dropping later today. So yeah, anything else?
I saw some Algo apes that looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Algorilla guy in here a little while ago. I saw.
Oh, that's who I saw. I'm talking about.
I saw him in here. I just got off a phone call prior to jumping on here with the Algo gang originals, the Alien Pride artist. That guy's
I
pretty
love
solid.
Alien Pride. I love those pieces.
Yeah. So I'm keeping an eye on those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Algo bots have been speaking for themselves, man. Same thing with the yieldlings, but yeah, like
Bank on Algorand was in here a minute ago. I was hoping to get him to talk, but man, we got so much to talk about. While we were in here, I was literally using the NFT Explorer, posting about how somebody posted an algo bot for 395 algos, and it was gone in like 5 minutes. Like those things were moving like hotcakes.
Yeah, I mean the floor for them is like 500. So, like, I picked one up for 500.
I got my yieldling set high because I just want to hold on to it for a while and just see if someone does buy it. Because the other bidder that has like this exact one I'm wearing right now is bidding for 10K algo right now.
Ooh-wee. All right. Well, you guys, it's been another fantastic weekend edition of the Algo Fam Roundtable Talk, huh?
Yep, brilliant, great one again.
Great.
Awesome.
Hopefully,
it's getting better every week. I love it. Like, it's so good. And
He's back. We could talk to him about his future set, Bank on Algorand.
Oh, is he back?
He is. If we want to invite him to talk about algo bots, I'm also gonna try to organize an algo dex conversation to get some answers there. So, audience, keep your eyes out for that. Yeah.
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Hey.
I got about 10 minutes on my lunch, so I can answer a couple questions.
So
what's this? What's it been like, man? To go through this rush in like the last 2-3 weeks?
It's been crazy, but a lot of fun. I was not expecting it to take off so quickly.
What do you think the catalyst was that really brought algo bots to the main stage of Algorand? Where you have the head of marketing of Algorand, Kelly Callahan, has it as their profile picture. Rand Labs, Steve Kokonos, CEO of Algorand. What do you think brought it there?
I'm guessing it was probably DG from Opulus Capital, but they've known me for a while in the community, so that also helped.
You're an OG here, man.
So having all those people already following me on my main account, they already knew who I was for the most part. But yeah, I'm excited for the next release. I have some really sweet collaborations in the works.
Yeah, and I really love the one you made for Fame, like the two you made for Fame, and the auction is going on. It's amazing because we will be able to help to send some money, like to send 90% of the money to mental health charity, which is amazing. And yeah, thank you for that, my friend.
Yeah, no problem. I love raising money for charity and working with other artists, doing collaboration work. It's a lot of fun.
I saw you were working on some ideas to make them, so it wasn't just I don't know, first come first serve. You're working on opportunities for everyone to have a chance to get an algo bot. Did you finalize some of those ideas, those alternative methods of getting your product out to the masses?
Yeah, I have a way of doing it manually right now, but I'm hoping to have somebody help me with smart contracts so I don't have to do it manually. But I plan on doing it for the next release, having at least 5 of the bots available through lottery purchases. Because I really like having, equal opportunity to get an algo bot. I don't want just people in one time zone, so I always try to have 2 different time zones listed for releasing them.
That's legit.
What time zone are you in?
I'm Eastern.
Eastern EST?
Yes. Yep.
Word. Nice. So how many algo bots are there going to be in total?
Total of 500 to 550, depending on collaborations. I would really hate to give myself a hard cap and have some huge collaboration partner want me to make a bot, and I have to say no because I already hit my cap.
So you give yourself a little extra wiggle room there.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm not going to go over the 550 though.
And what are you at right now? How many have you made?
I believe it's 86.
Okay, so there's still a good amount to go.
Yep.
What kind of variations are you thinking about in the future?
I mostly like to keep all the bots looking somewhat similar, but also have nice and major differences between the two, because similarity helps bring all the collection together, but having differences make them all a little bit unique.
Are you going to keep them 3 of 3?
Yeah, I will have a couple 1 of 1s, but only like about 10% of the supply would be 1 of 1s.
So aping those, gotcha.
Right.
Yep,
I think it's cool to find out like who else has yours.
Please.
Right. Emma just found me online. She's like, "Hey, we're twinsies. Algobot number 21." I was like, "Yep, okay. Now we got to find our triplet."
Yeah, you become bot buddies. Having the exact same bot as somebody else. It's good for community engagement.
I think it's phenomenal. Great job.
All right. Well, if anybody's got any other questions, I'm gonna get back to Wilk.
Yeah,
appreciate you hopping on.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for jumping in, Len. And yeah, talk to you soon. Come back. Let's try to do it next week.
Okay, sounds good, guys. All right, bye.
Bye. Thanks, man.
Bye.
Well, hopefully he doesn't have to work too long. He'd just become a full-time NFT artist and drop the mic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
He has a lot of algos though. He's been in the community for a long time.
Yeah, he's from the beginning, and he's been creating for since 2019, and yeah, we've been following each other, and yeah, I'm so glad that it's all working well for him for this project. It's so cool.
He used to make some really good memes too.
Yeah, he did some great ones before.
He made all the Fallout cards.
Yeah, and the Air Force too, like the Air Force series, that was fun. Way before NFTs.
You should turn those Fallout cards into NFTs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but also sometimes we can just because now the NFT craze is getting crazy. Like not everything has to become an NFT, but everybody wants to have an explosion of success with NFTs. It's kind of a bit funny sometimes. It goes too far, like with the pixelization, like all the same techniques. Yeah, I love to see like a new kind of new styles in the NFT space. Like I like this one, like this. Who is like this? Crypto Stevo. Can you tell us about the one you bought? Like this one, the iguana thing.
Yeah, I was wondering if anybody knew Benji from that project. It seems like it's a team, not just an individual, doing the Algoanas. Their website's really well put together, and they donated like 500 trees or something.
Oh, that's cool.
It was a nice tie-in.
I see also Algo Wilder. It's a new like Algo Wilders. If you want to jump in.
While we get some of them taken on the speaker host, I jumped on Algo Desk, you guys, while Chris was talking, and I literally minted 1 trillion nerd tokens just now, just to see if I could. and I did. I got 1 trillion nerd tokens now. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I got them.
When's the airdrop?
Right, I have no idea how to do a smart contract or smart airdrops or anything like that. So we'll check that out.
Well, better start writing
now.
down the addresses. All right, I'm going to make a video, so I'm gonna peace out. Keep your eyes out. It's a new video today coming out. Don't know what it's gonna be about yet, but we'll figure it out in the next hour. Also, keep your eyes out because I'm going to that conference. If you just joined in or you came late, I'm going to a conference called Digital Asset Summit on Monday and Tuesday. So I'll be able to give y'all some info from like the inside about with a lot of like, crypto people, industry, Algorand. It's all going to be there. So yeah, keep your eyes out, and I would say follow everybody in this room. If they have, like, pretty sure everybody in this room is interested in Algorand, so follow everybody in this room. Bilal's the host, so I'm not gonna end it as I leave, but yeah, thanks for coming out.
Wait, Ibu, you know what would be nice, Ibu and Monty, like if you could post your videos in the chat, like you create like amazing content, so it would be nice if you can just share them in the chat that we have with the 75 members.
Sure.
Because yeah, we need to keep it up, and it's also sometimes it's like it would be easier to have them like straight away, and yeah, such a good content so we can share too. Like that would be cool.
Sure. Yeah, I'll drop it in there. No problem.
Cool.